Hello, my beautiful students, first year. As you see, no one is here yet, and I'm waiting for students, and we're going to start the lesson. But before that, I just want to talk to you people who are at home and cannot make it to class. This is going to be my second video that I am making with the help of my beautiful friend Miho, who's filming me. And today we're going to talk about a lot of issues, a little bit deeper, talking about drawing, what is drawing, what happens when you draw, two important aspects of drawing. We're in this theory of drawing, if you like, what is the place of gesture, and what is gesture, how do you define gesture, and then new assignments, how to do gesture. I will explain more about my approach to gesture, and today we're going to have 15-second gesture drawing, and I will be talking about that, and then how to work on that and build up upon 30-second gesture drawing, and then homework I'm going to talk about. But before my students come to the class, where I'm going to be wearing a mask, I want to answer to a couple of questions that I was asked. If you haven't watched the first video, the first class, please watch that and let me know. Your feedbacks are very important for me. A couple of questions I was asked, as I said. One was about the homework. Homework is very important. In 4 hours of drawing, 2 hours, 4 hours of drawing, in my opinion, it's minimum. It's nothing actually for learning how to draw and learning drawing the figure. At least you need that 2 hours, 4 hours a week. If you can do more, if you can do it every day, that's even better. Then you're going to do 4 hours of drawing and send it to me. And again, I was asked about these sites that there are many sites on the internet. If you search life drawing or related search, you will find them on YouTube. They pose for you, they time it. Sometimes they play music with that, and probably that's entertaining for you guys. But it doesn't matter if you draw from a screen, is drawn from a picture. The model is posing for you. It's just a moving picture. Otherwise, it's a picture because you're drawing from the screen, and the screen is 2D, and it's good. It's better than nothing. But 3D model is always better. But if you want to use those sites, please do that. Another question was about the material. We use the material that we use. I was drawing on these, right? Just newsprint, right? Newsprint, papers like that, and these are some drawings I did. Newsprint. This drawing pads are very cheap, $4, and if you buy a bunch of them, it's going to be cheaper. Don't go for expensive paper. We don't need that for what we are doing. Newsprint is very good and is suitable for what we are doing. If you buy those big sheets of newsprint, those are even cheaper. Another thing that I want to show you that we use is Conte, stick Conte, like that, and that's the best in my opinion. this is a little bit soft. Maybe B or HB of these is better, but this is the best material that I recommend for this stage of development in drawing. Of course, you can draw with pen, with pencil, and different kind of pencil, and pastel, and so on. But I believe to begin with, this is a very good medium, and if you learn drawing with this, other medium are easier, in my opinion. Anyways, these were a few questions that I was asked about the homework, these YouTube sites, and also about the medium that we use here and the paper. Again, don't go for expensive paper, and stay with newsprint. That's better. And hope to get more feedbacks from you. And now we'll wait for my students to come and start the lesson of today. The second class, and last week we just talked about how to sit, how to move your arm, and how to produce your line, and a little bit of gesture, right? Today I'm going to talk about drawing in general, and we need to have a good understanding of drawing to understand what we are doing, and to you know, it will help us if we have a better understanding of drawing. And also we are going to talk about what is the placement of gesture in this understanding of drawing. Why we start with the gesture? What is gesture? Is it that important? Is there any other way to start with drawing? Is it a must to start with gesture? And things like that. And then we're going to talk about the first step in gesture. What should be doing? My suggestion. There are many different approaches. And then I'm going to give you the 50-second assignment, and we'll talk about that, and I'll demonstrate for you how to do it, and then how to use this 50-second gesture. These are topics that we're going to talk very quickly today, and also the homework for next class. Okay? Do you have any questions so far, or anything is good? Okay, everything is good. What is drawing? How do you define drawing? I want to start with you guys. How do you define drawing? You're doing it, but what is it?
The way to display.
Louder?
Sure.
What about you?
Copy the reality
Copy the reality
to the page.
to the page. Yeah, that's the kind of definition of drawing. What do you think?
I have nothing.
I have nothing. Then what is this thing that you're doing? You're drawing already. What is that? How do you define that?
I don't.
Yeah, okay, that's okay. But so far, we have copying reality and to the page, Yeah, what do you think?
Mark making?
Mark making? Yeah, you can say that.
That's what I was going to say, making a mark on something with something.
Make a mark on something with something. Yeah, that's a little bit better. You know, but we can talk about drawing as a human activity, that we want to transfer some ideas on a two-dimensional surface with the help of line, or putting some images on a two-dimensional surface with the help of line. You know, it could be caveman drawing or painting. You know, it's a drawing. We have been doing this at least for last 40,000 years, you have been doing drawing, then we can say drawing is putting a usually 3D image on a 2D surface with the help of line. You might say, okay, what about tone? Tone is a bunch of lines. So, you know, line is very important in this matter. Line is very important, and the 2D surface is very important, and the image is very important. If I want to say the definition of drawing, what is the most important aspect of the definition of drawing, I would say the image, the 2D surface, and the line. These are characteristics of drawing. For example, with sculpting, you transfer an image to a 3D object. You make that 3D object in the sculptor. For drawing, you're only limited to a 2D surface and only with line, right? Then this is drawing. This is what we're doing. This is what we want to learn how to do it. Then, if you think about it, there are two different aspects of drawing, but very interrelated. Two distinguished aspects, but very much related. You cannot separate them from each other. I just show you a little bit. Let's see, if you're sitting here, drawing, right? You're drawing. And let's say our model is posing for us, whatever pose. For example, let's say something like that. Then, when you draw this, you don't draw her. You cannot draw her. No one can draw her. She's there. She's there, out of the reach of any pencil, any surface, any paper. You know, she's there. It's obvious that you cannot draw her, and you're not drawing her. You're drawing the image that you are creating in your head, the image that you get from her. And this is the image, let's say something like that. Right? This is the image that you make of her, and then you transfer this image on the paper. Right? Then there are two different aspects. I call this number one, I call this number two. One is image making, two is putting the image on a 2D surface or on paper or the cave wall or whatever. These two aspects are very much related to each other, but at the same time separate. It's very important to know these two aspects because you want to work on your image making. You think you're seeing that. You think you have the right image of her. It's not. That's not true. You think we all see her the same. That is not true either. Every person, based on their experience, see things differently. I'm not talking about the just objective reflection of her image into our eyes and into our brains. That's a different story. But the image that you make is not just that reflection. You understand things. You realize things. I mean, an artist's eye is the one that sees a lot more than usual. Then image making is very important. But you have to know how to reproduce the image that you see in your head on the paper or cave wall or whatever. There are techniques. You have to learn how to produce your lines. You have to learn which kind of line to use. You have to learn how to render, how to shade, how to do tonal study. You have to learn tons of things. It's not enough to see it in your head. You have to learn how to put it on paper. But at the same time, these are related to each other. Whatever you put here, you can enhance your image or correct your image or you know, develop this one based on the development of this one, develop that one based on the development of that one. These are very related. There is a back and forth movement between these two all the time. We'll talk about this later more in detail. But for now, I just want to say that these two different aspects are important to pay attention to. For example, even last week when we started with how to sit and how to move your arm and how to produce your line. That part was more about the second aspect of drawing. But at the same time, last time we started with gesture drawing. But gesture drawing is both. You have to make an image when you want to do gesture, and the more you do gesture, the image becomes more clear. You can see things better. You can grasp the pose quicker, right? The image making by gesture drawing is going to improve. But gesture drawing has both the image making aspect of drawing and also putting a fluent line, good line, you know, on the paper and getting better proportion. Gradually, your drawing is representing your images that you make of her, and you know, again, back and forth. It's good for you, right? It's back and forth, especially with 1 minute gesture, doing it over and over and over. You gradually learn how to transfer your image on the paper correctly, right? And this is what happened in the drawing. And in this course, we're going to work on both. Every class and from now to 2 years from now, we're going to work on different aspects every class and try to improve our image making, especially on that one. You're going to work a lot, maybe 90% on that one. But also, once in a while, we're going to work on how to put it on paper, learn how to do that. Okay? You with me? Now, if that's what happened to draw, why we start with gesture? Last week we started with gesture, and it's sort of a given thing these days to start with the gesture, especially quick gesture. In any life drawing class, they do that. I'm not sure if it always was like that. At least in my own opinion, my own experience, when I came to Vancouver, 1994. I came here in 1994, and the first thing I did, I went to basic inquiry and started drawing. The basic inquiry was then in a different place, 5th floor on Main Street, and scary place in a way, but beautiful place. I don't know if you've ever been there.
No, I haven't been to the old one.
Yeah, that's I'm talking about the old one. Yeah. By the way, we were sitting drawing one day, and then, anyways, we were sitting. It was on the 5th floor, and an earthquake had occurred, and the building was moving like that. And you know, the funniest thing was the model didn't move. The model was posing, you know, she didn't move at all. And we all artists were scared. We were trying to escape really what she was sitting there. Anyways, when I came to Vancouver, there was not such tradition to start so many gestures. Yeah, maybe a few gestures to start with, but that was it. When I hired some models from my class, I remember Frank, who died, he's not alive now.
Frank told me, Mo, your class is a sweatshop. I said, why, Frank, my class is a sweatshop? He said, because it's a lot of work. I didn't get it, why it was a lot of work. Then I realized that he means gesture drawing. I mean, 1 hour of gesture drawing, 1 minute gesture drawing. It's sweatshop. You know, old days modeling was not like that. A few gesture and then long poses. Anyways, I don't know if the gesture is something new. Gesture, this long session of gesture drawing came with animation program in this town, in this city at least. I don't know about other places. But in animation we always start with gesture, but it's not the end of the world if you don't start with gesture. Then what is the importance of gesture, and how do you fit the gesture in this theory of drawing or understanding of drawing? It's obvious that gesture is your starting point. It's the outline. It's the idea. It's not everything, but something that you want to work on and develop your drawing, make it better. Something to start with. This is what gesture is. When we start drawing, but there is deeper meaning in gesture, and I want to ask you again. What do you think? What is gesture? How do you define gesture? Yeah.
I find it's I'd say like cleanest way to pick your drawing, because it doesn't get like clogged in your brain too much, because you don't have enough time to just.
Yeah, because you don't have time. Is the cleanest way. Is yeah. What else? How do you define the gesture?
I don't know if I this one.
You don't know this one.
No.
Any idea? And you want to add anything to?
To me, it's almost like making a statement with your body.
Yeah, a statement with the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, this is my definition of gesture. I would say gesture is the visual essence of anything. For example, if I draw something like that, you immediately know what I'm drawing. Don't you? What is it? Yes, here, right? Because, or if I draw something like that, you immediately know what I'm doing, right? This is this chair. But another chair has got different gesture. For example, if you draw something like that, this is a different gesture than that one, right? If you think about it, everything has a gesture. For example, the stick that we have there, the gesture is something like that, right? Simple. A cup of coffee, the gesture is something like that, right? Everything has a gesture. And the human form, for example, the way she's sitting is, as you can say, it's got a gesture like that. Right? What is that gesture? How do you define that gesture?
Starting point.
It is a starting point, definitely. It is a starting point. But I would say it's the most characteristic elements, visual elements, not any kind. It's all about visual. The most characteristic elements of something, visual elements of something that you want to draw. It's suggestion, starting point, but there is the essence there. There is something that you cannot ignore. And if you don't get that, you won't be able to get that thing. You know, the gesture is the visual essence of anything you want to draw. In our case, is the human form, human body. The next week, I'm going to talk about different aspects of what is the characteristic elements of a gesture. We're going to talk about line of action, weight, you know, a little bit of anatomy and how we move our body and how it's related to the gesture. These are the things that I'm going to talk about next week. But one thing that I want to emphasize again, and I emphasized last week as well, is that the gesture is an abstract suggestion of what is there. It doesn't care about the concrete aspect of what is there. It's very abstract. And because of that, it's very powerful. Later again, I'm going to explain, maybe next week, I'm going to explain how you start from abstract suggestion and how you go to concrete. But today, I want to push you to get that abstract aspect of a gesture. And in order to do that, I'm going to ask you to do 15-second gesture drawing. In 15-second gesture drawing, you don't have much time to think about anything. And you have to go for the most characteristic elements of that gesture. What makes that gesture? Right? This is important. As I said, there are many other aspects about gesture, but this abstract suggestion is the most characteristic element of that pose, of that particular pose. You know, it's proportion. Everything is there. Proportion, movement, everything is there. But it's the most characteristic element of that pose. You're going to practice that, and you're going to try to capture that. And then, when you get that, I'm going to tell you how to use that in your drawing. Okay? No question? Should we start? Okay, let's do some 15-second gesture drawing. after 15-second gesture drawing, all of a sudden I asked the model to do 1 minute, right? I wanted to put you in a situation that you still in the 15-second gesture drawing mode, and suddenly change to 1 minute, and you realize that you have a lot more time that you don't know what to do with somehow, right? Then in some ways made it easier, or in some ways you didn't know how to use your extra time that you have. But nevertheless, it is telling you that you can get a lot in 15 seconds and then work on it and make it better. My point is, what is that a lot that you can get in 15 seconds? What is that thing that you get in 15 seconds? I think that's very abstract suggestion of the pose. That means that 15 seconds means that you have the basic characteristic element of that pose, and you can work on it. Then my suggestion is always go for that and get that, and then start working with upon that, right? That doesn't mean that it's a crime if you don't start with that. It's a crime if you don't start with gesture or with that. No, that's not my point. But you might want to do a 2-hour pose, and you might start with some, details somewhere. I don't know. I don't care about that. But what I care about is that in that drawing there is a gesture. If you don't get that gesture, your drawing is not going to work. It's better to get it first. It's better to start with that gesture. But even if you don't start with that gesture, sooner or later you're going to face this reality that there is a gesture of that pose that you have missed. You haven't got it. And then your drawing is going to be bad, and you're going to be in trouble. Then it's better to get the gesture as soon as you can. And this is what we're doing, especially for animation. You need that. Animation is just gesture drawing all the way through. Good animation is based on gesture, Then my suggestion is, now you're not going to have 15 seconds. You're going to have 1 minute gesture drawing. But you assume that these are 15 seconds. Try to get it quickly. Try to get all the basic elements, all of the basic visual elements of that pose quickly in 15 seconds. And you have extra 45 seconds to work on it. And go back and develop it layer by layer. This is something that I'm going to talk about in detail next week. This week, I want you to get this 15 plus 45, I call it, right? Try to get that, practice that, and next week we're going to talk about what to do with those 45 seconds that I have, right? This is the task for next week. But this week, you just want to do 15 plus 45, okay? No question? Okay, then let's start with 1 minute, but 15 plus 45.
Do you want this to ring at the 15-second mark?
No,
Because I have it already.
I want them,
Okay.
I just want them, this time no one is pushing you to do 15 seconds. It's up to you, but you have to learn this. To get 15 seconds very quickly and work on your gesture for another 45 seconds.
Okay. I was just asking because I have to do that
Yeah.
in another class, so I already
Yeah.
have it set for 15 and then another 45 seconds
Yeah.
afterwards.
No, that's make it a little bit mechanical. I want them to be more flexible.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
yes, 1 minute.